Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody come through. Oh my gosh, it's been a minute since we live. Okay, this cord's in my way. We live now. Hold up, y'all. Now, hold up. I'm trying to get right to my stream, but here it is. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let those notifications go out. Let me go ahead and let the Discord people know that we're live. I didn't even do a thumbnail on this because, oh man, I'm tired. Everyone, we live now. We did a pre-recorded earlier. Make sure you check out that video that we just dropped earlier today. Hey, James. Hey, Jess V. Hey, Itchy Thayton. How are you, love? Everybody come through. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hold up. We live now. Shout out to everybody. Yo, Sarah, search for you. Shauna B, Jess V, Pinche Becky's in the house. H, thank you for being here. Cheeks in the house. Stace is here. Tamara's here. Welcome. Dee Dee, David Bruce, Jay McCarthy. Welcome, welcome. Morris, how are you, Victoria? Shout out to you, Don and Katie. How are you? I'm submitting. Well, I'm late. I think I'm late by like, I don't know, maybe a minute or two. Just life happens, you know? Hey, Chico, how are you, love? James, everybody, Wendy, come through, guys. Come through. Don is in the house. Thank you for being here. Everybody, everybody, everybody. Guys, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a live or not. And I was like, yeah, there's some stuff we got to talk about. Sure. Let's get this live going. But it won't be a very long live because I have an appointment later on. So I have to tend to that. Hey, Tony, how are you? Shout out to you. Gaslit is in the house. Welcome. Let those notifications go out. I got some coffee here. Listen, it looks like a very nice day outside. The sun is out. I definitely want to be outside today. I'm loving it. James, thank you for being here. Everybody come through. Hey, fail pessimist, everybody back from vacation, ready for the tea. How are you guys? Shout out to everybody. Let me say something, and I'm like, this doesn't really need to be alive. But I'm gonna say a couple things, okay? I have not submitted any copyright strikes to any channels, okay? I haven't done it. And if I ever did, it would be I would be in my right to do so, because if I feel like my content is not being used in fair use, then yeah, I could definitely do that. But I haven't done that. So I just want to make sure that I put that out there, because I think it's pretty wrong to just bunch of people, put people in buckets of who's doing what. I have not submitted anything. And if I wanted to, I would be in my right to do so. Okay. I don't owe any explanations to anybody. I don't owe anything to anybody as it pertains to that. That's how I feel. All right. And yeah, that's what I got to say about that. Okay. Cool. All right. Rabbit doesn't mess around with the petty. It's like dumb. Like, I'm just so over it. It's just dumb, and people just be putting you in shit for no reason. Jay McCarthy, stressed and overwhelmed, waiting to see, the furlough after tomorrow. You know, when I worked in the government, I swear we used to love furlough days. There was this time where we went through furloughs for a minute. And I mean, there's something about, like, first of all, I never took any time off, right? So when the furloughs came through, it was kind of like you have to take time off. You have no other choice but to take that time off. So that's what we did. I had to appreciate a furlough day as much as I didn't ever take time off. But yeah, I've done that before. Yeah, I don't be doing shit like that, but people be putting me in shit that I'm like, I swear. And then there's like no receipts shown ever. There's no receipts. It's like a bunch of fucking allegations. That's the thing is, y'all know I don't get down like that. I don't get down with putting a bunch of shit just to see what sticks and no receipts. Like, come the hell on. I don't know. But hey, it's the internet. People get away with that shit all the time. That's how I feel. But welcome, everybody. All my regulars. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why are you being furloughed? Usually we are furlocation. But with everything going on, I'm nervous. It'll be a long one. There's a lot of stuff happening in the government, guys. So I suspect we're going to see a lot more furlough days. But like I said, I remember where we would, I would never take a day, even on a holiday I was working. But see, I was salary at that time. So there was no overtime or anything like that. But I figured out how to, make my time a little bit different. So that happens. But then when the furloughs came through, because there was a time where the furloughs came through, we had to figure it out to make sure that like the whole building was closed. We didn't have a choice but to actually take a day off. So that's how we treated it. Welcome. I have arrived. Please continue. I appreciate your kindness. No hard feelings either way for your politics promises. Love y'all. Thank you, JJJ. Shout out to you. Everybody come through. I'm letting those notifications go out. And I didn't do a thumbnail. I didn't feel like it. It's just like, I'm tired. I'm tired. But I did do a pre-recorded video earlier. So yeah, other than that, that's basically it. We just doing the thing. We doing our thing, and we're gonna keep it pushing. Thank you. Hey, NJS55, shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Let's get it together, guys. Let's get it together. So there's a couple of stories that I want to talk about, and some of which are still kind of developing. So why don't we start with this whole, I did a video about this earlier this morning. We could start right there. This Maui police situation, okay? So John Pelletier is essentially the mayor by the name of Richard I know I'm saying his name wrong. I think it's Bison or Bison. I don't know, but it's Bisen. He's the mayor of Maui. So this lawsuit drops with Ashley Parham that includes this police chief, okay, and other people, right? This is the same lawsuit that names Jaguar Wright and Company, okay? In this lawsuit, it's kind of like a RICO civil case, all right? And it's alleging that John Pelletier, who is the chief of the Maui Police, was basically Diddy's strong arm, okay? And this alleged victim was trafficked by this police chief. This is what's being alleged. You said Mayor of Maui sounds like a tongue twister. I know. It's like the whole mayor. Well, and I remember covering so much of this in the Maui fires. So I did this. Was it 2023? Yeah, we did a lot of coverage on this. So this mayor basically comes forward and says, he's being named in this lawsuit. The mayor basically comes forward and says that he wants the police chief to resign from his position, or that the commission needs to investigate the police chief. Okay. That's what he wants. What the mayor wants. Says, I want this guy to be investigated. And he's put in a request and made a statement. Okay. Well, the commission is not meeting quite yet. They don't meet until the 19th of March. So they got a couple days. All right. So the mayor says, I don't want this guy as a chief anymore. Okay. They want to, he feels like his administration feels like, well, you've been named in this lawsuit and we don't know if these allegations are correct. Well, you know what John Pelletier, the Maui police chief, did? He went and he got all of his bank statements and basically shared them with like a local journalist up in Maui, to basically dispel some of the allegations that Ashley Parham is making against him, showing that at the time that this happened to this alleged victim, he was nowhere near. He was banking in Vegas, because at the time in 2018, he was a police chief in Vegas before he became the police chief in Maui. So he's basically showing all these bank records and stuff like that. What really gets to me about the situation, and I said it in the pre-recorded video, is that Ariel Mitchell Kidd, who is the lawyer for this Jane Doe, has not legally served Pelletier, hasn't legally served some people. She needs to serve people. But they've definitely showed this lawsuit up in the media. So now this lawsuit is up in the media everywhere. But how come all of this is not like where it needs to be, right? Like, the guy can get served. Come the hell on. He's a police chief, okay? You can find him in Maui. You'll know where to find him. So I need to understand. Shout out to y'all. So it doesn't mean he doesn't have another account. Could be, James. I don't know. See, it's a little, if it was like he was in Maui around the time, I guess it'd be a little bit different, but that's not the case. He's in Vegas. People travel, and I mean the allegations are pretty strong. But my thing is that even in a civil lawsuit, the mayor's not supporting the chief. Mm-hmm. Luana, is it Luana Dana or Luana Dana or Luana Dana? Thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you, love. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome. I appreciate it. So that is what's going on with John Pelletier, police chief, and he is fighting back. He's releasing records. Here's the deal. If I was him, I'd probably hire a forensic bank accountant or something like that and have those records be formally pulled by someone in forensics to make sure that it's him. And like James said, he doesn't have another account, or he's not like, the night crawler, one place here and then the other place over there, that type of situation. Luona Donut. I'm trying to figure out how you say your name, love. Let me know. See, even Jay McCarthy, is it Luona? I thought it's Luana, because it's Luanadana. Luona Donna. Type it in the chat. Make sure we're saying it correctly. Shout out to you. So anyways, that is what's going on. Now, I want to move on over to Sudiksha Konanki search. So Natalee Holloway's mom, for those that, I'm sure everybody knows who Natalee Holloway was, right? The disappearance of a young girl who was on spring break. She went to Aruba and basically never came back home. And we had somebody, I don't know if he really confessed fully, but we knew that he had something to do with her death and disappearance. I mean, there's just been so many accounts, but he is formally in a Peruvian prison. Okay. Euron Vandersloot, him, for the death of Natalee Holloway. He's in there for something else, but people have said that he did something to hold up, guys. What? Hold up, y'all. What is this? Wow. Hold up. We got a little bit of a breaking news. Give me 1 second. Damn. Really? Hold up, y'all. This caught my attention. Wow. Reading now and live now. I mean, is this... Let's see what this is. Let me accept this. Give me 1 sec, y'all. You got to follow me with the... Wow. Okay. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. I've arrived. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, we got a little bit of breaking news in Liam Payne's case. And I tell you guys, I felt defeated with that case. That might be a separate video here, but we'll read this in a little bit and I'll make a separate video of it. Okay, but let me finish this thought process on Sudiksha Konanki. So I guess Natalee Holloway's mom is giving commentary and thoughts behind the disappearance of Sudiksha Konanki. So Natalee Holloway's mom addresses key differences in her daughter's case. And let me bring this out here. I felt like my spirit bright up after watching that headline on Liam Payne. I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, but let me read this. So Natalee Holloway's mom, Beth Holloway, addresses the differences between the investigation of her daughter's 2005 case and recent disappearance of the University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Konanki, okay? So Natalee Holloway's mom is sharing her thoughts following the disappearance of Sudiksha Konanki, following the disappearance of the University of Pittsburgh student during the spring break in the Dominican Republic. Beth Holloway details the similarities between the current case and what her family went through after Natalee went missing in 2005 amid a graduation trip to Aruba. The family is so fortunate to have the American embassy there to work with. This is what Beth told Fox News. I did not have that in Aruba. In the days since Sudiksha, 20 years old, was reported missing from Punta Cana, where she was staying with friends on March 6th after traveling to the Dominican Republic with a group of friends for spring break. An investigation in the Dominican Republic has been underway, prompting a search of air, land, and sea from officials on land, with the FBI and the liaison of the U.S. Embassy assisting officials on the land. So surveillance footage, we know, shares that she was with some friends, and then she was with this young guy, and it shows that she was walking alongside with him, and he comes back basically without her. All right. So the Dominican Republic president said in a press conference, which was March 10th, that that a wave hit them while they were on the beach and caused some kind of confusion. So Joshua Reby, I think that's how we said his name is. He basically gave different accounts of the situation. There was a wave, confusion. The wave took her while he was able to come back in, passed out because he had drank so much seawater, and then he comes back to his room. And then there's been other accounts of different things, but we don't know exactly what to believe. His family, Joshua Ariba, is like definitely defending him, saying like, hey, he's innocent. He wouldn't hurt a fly. No flies are hurt. Okay. No flies. That's what he's saying. All right. Now let's keep going. Natalee was 18 years old. This is Natalee Holloway. She was 18 years old when she went missing, May 30th of 2005, sparking nationwide attention. Natalee was last seen with a group of men, including Joran Vandersloot, leaving a club in Aruba. So in 2023, 18 years later, he was initially named a person of interest in her disappearance. Joran confessed to kill. So he did finally confess to killing Natalee Holloway. After refusing his sexual advances, he's currently serving a 20-year prison sentence for a fraud case involving Natalee's parents, which is running concurrently with the 28-year sentence he is serving in Peru for a 2010 murder of a college student by the name of Stephanie Flores. Natalee, whose remains have never been found, was declared legally dead in 2012. Okay, so at least what it sounds like is that, Sudiksha Konanki is having support from the American Embassy. We have the FBI out there. And this is yet, at least Natalee Holloway's mom, she's saying she didn't get any support from the American Embassy. But this is a terrible story overall, right? My hope is that we get some more answers, right? He went to kill a younger girl again, but he was caught on videotape on that one, right? So not only did they get him for the fraud for the Holloways, because he strung the Holloways around too, saying that he knew information. Joran Vandersloot, that whole case was like, I remember people playing informants. I remember it was like nationally, internationally covered a lot, okay? They traveled down there to go find her. That's what he's saying, that he like basically strangled her because he was refusing her advances and then put her in the water. And that's the thing about these cases. It's like, well, at least, back then, Natalee Holloway, we didn't have a whole lot of CCTV out there. Here we do, right? You have a footage of this guy who is changing his story back and forth in different ways. So that's a good point. Yes. Aruba belongs to Holloway. That's right. Dizzy Destiny. Shout out to you. I don't know, man. I know, right? Kim's like, yeah, he won't hurt a fly. Well, that's what they said. He'll never hurt a fly. He's a good kid and yada, yada. He was a wrestling, yada, yada, yada. You know how they make. Listen. I don't know what happened. We don't know. Maybe he didn't hurt her. Let that investigation happen, and then we'll come out with the conclusion. Now, does it sit well with me that he's changing his story a couple times? Absolutely not. Doesn't sit well whatsoever. Okay. That's right. And you don't know what. Thank you, Monkey. You don't know. Idiot Monkey says you don't know what people do when they are drunk. You're right. We don't know. We don't. Okay, let's move on. Now, we're going to add this too, and I didn't add this on my title, but let me do this now, and I might do a separate video on this. Hold up, y'all. Let me fix my title a bit. See, sometimes you just gotta move and go with the flow of things, right? Because stuff just kind of happens and you gotta go. Now, I have a little bit, this kind of made my spirit light up a little bit. I told you guys I've been feeling some kind of way about the Liam Payne news. I feel like, just feel weird about it. It doesn't sit well. I told you guys yesterday, I said, every time I want to do a video to give an update, it's like my stomach hurts. Like, I don't know. And I've had situations like that before. And typically it's because I need to just take a step away of certain things. So we'll see about this story here, or at least this breaking news. Shout out to Julia. Thank you, Julia, for messaging me as well. I have to keep rolling with I do, James. I have to keep rolling with some waves, right? Hey, Heidi, how are you, love? No worries. Shout out to you. We got to get into this. So this is straight from the prosecutor's website in Argentina. Now, there's been a lot of stuff happening in Argentina lately from what I've heard in the news. Like, there's like a protest where people were kind of burning up buildings and doing different things. And I mean, people have alleged a lot of corruption in Argentina. So, Liam Payne case, the MPF appealed the dismissal of 3 defendants in different instances. The prosecutor and the investigating prosecutor are seeking to overturn 2 rulings that acquitted the alleged manager of the deceased, the hotel manager, and the security guard of the charges of the culpable homicide, and in the cases of the former, also of providing and supplying narcotics. Furthermore, the prosecutor's assistant unit before the National Court of Cassation in the criminal and correctional matters successfully obtained confirmation from the court of the denials of the release of one of the defendants. Hold up. So let me understand this. This was released today. The prosecutors and investigating prosecutor are seeking to overturn 2 rulings that acquitted the alleged manager, so that would be Rogelio Nores, and the hotel manager, that would be Esteban Grassi, and the security guard of the charges of culpable homicide. So that would be what is her name? Gilda Martin, Esteban Grassi, and Rogelio Nores. Okay. So the prosecutors are seeking to overturn 2 rulings that acquitted them. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I like this. Okay. Just felt like a mouthful when I was reading this. So the public prosecutor's office appealed to both the National Court in the criminal and correctional matter and the National Court of Appeals of the same jurisdiction the dismissal of 3 of the defendants in the case and the case investigating the death and drug trafficking of Liam James Payne, the British musician who died October 16 after falling from the balcony of the hotel in the Palermo neighborhood where he was staying. The presentations were made by the head of the first prosecutor's office before the National Criminal and Correctional Appeal of the Court of the Federal Capital Attorney General Joaquin Gasset, and by the head of the 14th National Criminal and Correctional Prosecutor's Office and investigators of the case, Prosecutor Andres Madre. Okay, like I feel like I'm reading a mouthful with these titles and whatnot. Thank you, Julia. Thank you. It came up minutes ago. I like this news. Okay, let me say that much. And I'm going to work on a shorter video on this because you guys know I've been feeling it. Like I know I told Julia, I said, Julia, I just can't. Like I'm mad and I don't know what to do. And I've been keeping busy, but I don't know. Like this news really kind of got to me with Liam Payne, but they're going to appeal. Like this is actually happening. I mean, this is their website. They're saying in their website that they're going through an appeal. So the MPF representatives object to attempt to overturn the dismissals of charges ordered on February 19th by the 4th Chambers of the Court of Appeals against Rogelio Nores, who declared himself merely a friend of the victim, the manager of the hotel where the incident occurred. That would be Griselda. Is it Griselda Martin? I think I'm saying her first name wrong. Griselda Martin, I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name, okay? Who declared himself merely and the reception manager, Esteban Graci. Initially, they had been prosecuted last December by the judge Lara Bernard, the head of the 38th National Criminal Correctional Court, for the crime of involuntary manslaughter. Julia, I hope this is not for show. I hope that they really mean it, because I really, really do. I was feeling down about this. Just saying. So my hopes. I don't want to get my hopes up, but my hopes are a little bit up. Okay. In the case of Rogelio, the Argentinian-American businessman considered by the MPF to be the victim's manager or representative, the judge also acquitted him of the crimes of facilitating and supplying of narcotics, charges for which he had also been investigated by the judge. In a new ruling dated February 26th that has now also been appealed by the prosecution, which attributes to this defendant an active role in the supply of narcotics to the former member of the group One Direction, or at least the money with which Payne could have acquired them. The case has two other defendants, an employee of Casa Sur Palermo Hotel identified by the initials EPD, which I believe would be Ezequiel Pereira, and a waiter whom the musician met in the Puerto Madero neighborhood, Brian Paez, which confirmed the indictment and preventative detention for the crime of supplying narcotics contemplated in Article 5 section of the law, and it's all there, narcotics, which provides for a sentence of 4 to 15 years, okay? According to the investigation, each of them provided cocaine for a fee sale to Payne on 2 occasions during the stay at the hotel, and only money Payne was able to obtain for this was that provided by the alleged manager. The appeal for the causation against the dismissal. In questioning the dismissal ordered by the last month by Chambers 4 of the National Court of Criminal and Correctional Appeals for Rogelio, Griselda, and Esteban, Attorney General Gasset argued that the ruling revealed I feel like they're making up words. Hold up. Let me look this word up. How do you even say that? I know it's arbitrariness. Hold up, y'all. Excuse me. Arbitrariness. Okay. I guess I've never heard it say like that, arbitrariness, which means that it is the quality of being based on random choices or personal whim rather than the reason or system. Okay. Oh man, all these words. Okay. So, Attorney General Gasset argued that the ruling reveals manifest arbitrariness in the assessment of the evidence formerly incorporated into the case file, that it is flawed in its reasoning, and questioned the fact that pending telephone and testimony expert reports requested by the investigating prosecutor office on December 17 have not yet been conducted. Regarding this, the prosecution listed 3 hard drives seized from the reception area of the Casa Sur Palermo Hotel, Payne's personal computer, and the cell phones of the defendant, of Rogelio Norris himself, those of his partners, who was listed as the manager's assistant, and another person who hosted Payne in the days prior to his arrival at the hotel, who, according to the investigation, is mentioned in a message about a drug order. Regarding the situation of Rogelio, a friend of the victim, who, according to the MPF, acted as a representative during the visit to Argentina, Gasset stated, although the court states that the role that the Rogelio and in relation to Payne, the duties that arose from this and the conduct that it failed to perform that would have prevented that outcome were not fully explained. The reality is this is not only pointed out repeatedly, but evidence was also presented to support it, which was either not assessed by the court at the time of its ruling or was not analyzed correctly. So is he saying that this was not, like, this wasn't assessed correctly? I'm saying, I know they're making up words. I'm like, I'm in my head, it's not keeping up. Thank you, Joyce, for the super sticker, my love. Shout out to you. Am I hearing this correctly? So is this like guy by the name of Attorney General Gasset basically saying that the court didn't really The reality is, it's not only pointed out repeatedly, but evidence was also presented to support, which was either not assessed by the court at the time of its ruling or was analyzed incorrectly. So is it saying that, I don't want to get my hopes up, but am I hearing that they're saying that the court that was investigating this whole thing did not analyze all the evidence correctly? So they've left this guy off the hook and everybody else. See, I'm thinking that, don't get my hopes up. Don't get my hopes up. Are you serious? I cannot. I'm too excited. Okay. And I'm like, okay, and this is the Attorney General that's saying this? Okay. All right then, Attorney General, I like it. All right. If he's saying that, yeah, he is saying that they didn't take evidence that was pertinent to the case and was dismissed, and therefore acquittal was not done in good faith. Pika, thank you. I love it. Thank you. I think that's beautiful. I think that that's what you said. And I love how, listen, I love how you said that. Okay. Thank you, Luana Donna. That's how you say her name, Luana Donna. Throwback laugh in the 70s. I'm so old. Well, shout out to you, Luana Donna. This is huge. Oh my God. Y'all don't even know. Like, okay. All right. Okay. I'm really smiling about this. Like, I'm telling you, I was feeling really down about this. This is going to be, I'm going to cut this part out and it's going to be a whole separate video. I promise y'all. Yes. Yes. Okay. I hope they're not doing this for show. Okay. Because y'all can see like my spirits just lifted up. Okay. Thank you, idiot monkey. Thank you. Thank you. I hope my stomach feels better. Okay. So this is what's being said. For the Attorney General, although there's no specific contract or documented listing the role of Rogelio had in Payne's life at the time of his stay in Buenos Aires and when the events occurred, this defendant had a prominent role and was the only person he had in the country who authorized and was in charge of his purchases, who was informed of all his movements, which is the argument that myself, that others on YouTube, that the fans have been making. We have said like he was the one in charge of everything. There's text messages that show this. Guys, I have like over 80 plus videos outlining everything that was shown in the Argentinian networks and the Argentina networks, translating everything, putting those messages out there. I know Julia helped me translate. So I felt like they were really played in our, they just played in our faces when it came to this whole trial. Oh my God. Okay. He noted that Rogelio had a special duty of care, that the breach of that duty resulted in a fatal outcome, and that he created a legally impermissible risk by leaving the victim unaccompanied at the hotel where he was staying, and that he did so in full knowledge of the extremely vulnerable state which the victim found himself. In turn, he stated that the businessman and friend of Payne not only knew about the victim's multiple drug use during his stay at the Hotel Casa Sur Palermo, but it was also proven that he facilitated Payne's access to the drugs he consumed. That is what we said. Oh my God. We've been saying this. You don't give, okay. And I've given this analogy before. Guys, if your friend is driving drunk, okay, if your friend is drinking, you're seeing your friend drinking, tequila, whatever, okay? And then he grabs the keys from you and is insisting to drive. You being sober, knowingly allowing him to drive, like, wouldn't you be liable to a certain degree? You let your friend drive drunk, okay? He could either hurt himself, hurt somebody, and then whatever DUI comes out of that. You fighting for these keys. And that's the issue with this case. That is like, Rogelio, you knew your friend had a drug problem. You facilitated the drugs that he was consuming. Stop, allegedly. Stop it. Like, come on. There's messages that show this throughout and even the hotel staff. Lula Miranda said, hey, stop sending alcohol to Liam Payne's room. It was said. Esteban Grassi messaged Rogelio and said this to him. Lula told us not to bring hotel bottles up there. Just letting you know. I cannot. All right. Let's keep going. I feel like I said, I'm glad that somebody sees this other side of this argument, but it's so frustrating because myself and so many other people have said, like, it just, I can't. It says, in this regard, Gasket emphasizes that the evidence included in the case file shows that the defendant facilitated Payne's access to the drugs by removing obstacles to his acquisition for valuable consideration and acting as an intermediary. On this point, he mentioned a series of messages in which, on the morning of October 16, the day of his death, Payne asked Rogelio if an acquaintance or his could get 6 grams, clearly referring to cocaine. On the other hand, the prosecution noted that according to the reconstruction carried out so far, Rogelio was in the British musician's room at the time when a cleaning lady stated that she saw the victim inhaling a little dust. They interviewed a cleaning lady. In short, the court is asking that Rogelio should have done to avoid contributing to the fatal outcome. In short, the court is asking that Rogelio should have done to avoid contributing to the fatal outcome. Sorry, guys, this is all translated, so it's kind of hard to read because they're putting in words that might not be in here that would be making sense, so I apologize. This basically means not leaving him alone and preventing him from consuming alcohol with citrulline. It was precisely alcohol that Rogelio expressly authorized throughout his stay at Casa Sur, and furthermore, by making it easier for him to obtain narcotics. Knowing the effects of multiple drug use, citrulline with other narcotics was a no-go. Rogelio Nortes was aware of this because he was CC'd or in an email with a psychiatrist who basically said, I can't keep going on treating you if you're doing X, Y, and Z. And please know that this is a contributing factor that could lead to X, Y, and Z. You don't want to mix drugs, okay? Keep that in mind. Rogelio Nortes collaborated in creating the state that led to the fatal outcome, especially when it intended to conclude that Rogelio had no obligation to provide protection or assistance. Hold up. See, I'm telling you, the translation of this is horrible. And furthermore, by making it easier for him to obtain narcotics, knowing the effects of multiple drug use, Rogelio collaborated in creating that state that led to the fatal outcome. Okay? Especially when it is intended to conclude that Rogelio had no obligation to provide protection or assistance. This is what the Attorney General concluded. Regarding the manager, Griselda Martin's hotel, and the head of reception, Esteban Grassi, the other 2 defendants acquitted by the Court of Appeals, Gasset argued that important evidence for purposes of determining their responsibility was also omitted. What do you mean evidence was omitted? Listen, I can't get it out of my head when they manhandled him and carried him all the way to and from. The guy was convulsing. Witnesses saw him convulsing. When somebody's convulsing, do you manhandle them back to their room on the 3rd floor? What is it? The 4th floor, where they could easily fall access to a balcony? That doesn't make sense. And by the way, where the hell is this Rolex watch? Where is it? I cannot. Tina, say that louder, please and thank you. So, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to understand this a little bit more. So, there was important evidence for the purposes of determining their responsibility was omitted. So, what evidence was omitted? Their decisive contribution was to guide him to his room on the 3rd floor of the hotel and leave him there alone in a dangerous environment without any company. Moments later, the victim fell into the void and died, he explained, although some of us don't really believe that, but okay. On this point, the prosecutor transcribed the recording of the 911 call made from the hotel in the moments before Payne fell, in which they keep putting the initials and it throws me off. Esteban Graci himself called for help because he acknowledged the operator that the danger in the balcony posed to the musician given in a state of intoxication. Yes, and that's the thing, is that they called 911 twice. They initially released one call, right? And it was the second call. In my opinion, and I've said this before, guys, in the second 911 call, it sounds like Liam Payne had already fallen. Then that's when they decide, like, to me, it sounds like they did the first 911 call. Liam Payne falls, okay? Because that's, even that whole part is a little bit to be disputed. Liam Payne falls, okay, allegedly. And then they say, well, we have a guest on the third floor, okay? And we're worried that, he's been taking drugs and he's destroyed the entire room and that he could fall. In my opinion, based on how the events have happened and what the witnesses have said, and other witnesses that I had to translate in Spanish, and also the changing story of Brett, okay, that guy that was there but didn't see and really did see, that whole situation, I feel like Liam Payne was on the cement by the time they made that second call, okay? That is my opinion. I feel very strongly about that, all right? We have a guest who's over the top on drugs and is destroying the entire room, all right? And we need you to send someone urgently because, well, I don't know if the guest's life is at risk. He's in a room with a balcony and, well, we're a little afraid he might do something that could put his life at risk, the defendant said in a statement produced at the same time as Payne's fall. The chamber asked what notice Rogelio should have done to avoid contributing to the fatal outcome. And this is basically not leaving him alone and preventing him from consuming alcohol with citrulline, and furthermore, by making it easier for him to obtain narcotics. Rogelio corroborated in creating the state that caused the fatal outcome. This is what the attorney general is saying. So the appeal against the manager. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost done. Yes. Okay, this is pretty long, but this is legit a statement from the Argentinian, prosecutor's office. This is huge, okay? Julia, you made my day. Thank you for sharing this with me because this was bothering me, okay? Appeal against manager's dismissal for drug supply. Although Rogelio Noris had been investigated at the time for the crime of facilitation and supply of narcotics to Payne, in ruling on his situation last December, the judge had only charged him with culpable homicide, a crime for which the Court of Appeals later acquitted him, and had not ruled on this charge, which had also been made by the MPF. But in a new ruling dated February 26, the judge ex officio dismissed the musician's friend's charges of drug supply, finding there was no evidence to support such conduct. Against that decision, prosecutor Madre filed an appeal on March 5th, requesting that the National Court of Criminal and Correctional Appeals review the defendant's second dismissal of the crime, which carries a sentence to 4 to 15 years in prison. So there was an appeal that was filed March 5th. I consider that given the evidence gathered at this time and the remaining and impending evidence, adopted an exculpatory approach without further ado is absolutely inappropriate. It contradicts the previous steps and decision of the judiciary, which are now being ignored and disregarded without any plausible arguments or reason that can be understood in a linear manner, especially when there's evidence still to be produced, already ordered by the very judiciary that is now rejecting it, Madre stated. As his superior Attorney General Gassett also stated in the appeal, and the head of the National Criminal and Correctional Prosecutor's Office, number 14, mentioned again that for this charge, which had not yet been addressed, there are still pending evidentiary measures that could prove that the prosecution's hypothesis, such as the analysis of the hotel hard drives, the victim's laptop, and the cell phones of the accused himself and others close associates. So I personally feel like they came to that whole decision was just way too hasty, way too quick. We never found out what was in the hard drives, what was it, because they raided certain locations, what happened there. So hopefully now we're going to get to see this evidence. Madre explained that the analysis of Rogelio's phone and other kidnapped individuals who had not yet been examined in the case. Why does it say kidnapped? What? I don't know if this is a translation issue. So please note that if you're reading this in English, it says kidnapped. I don't know why. But for those that are... And the other kidnapped individuals. Madre explained that the analysis of Rogelio's phone and the other kidnapped individuals, I think it's the wrong word, who have not been yet examined in this case, it's substantially linked to the subject of the investigation in this regard, which is the facilitation of supply of information that is extraordinarily contradictory, is that today in is it Copper's? Oh my God, I can't say this word, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me look it up. See, if I was doing a pre-recorded, this is what I would be doing. I'd be looking up words to make sure I said this correctly. How do you say that? Hold up. Copernican. Why? I know how to say that word. What am I talking about? Okay. And what is extraordinarily contradictory is that today, in a Copernican fashion, they're reversing that path and not even wanting to know its content. At another point, and after recalling that the court confirmed the prosecution of 2 and other defendants for supplying narcotics for considerable valuables, Madre asked, where did Liam Payne get the money to buy the narcotics if it wasn't the money contributed by N, Rogelio Nores? That is the question that a lot of us were asking. He didn't have access to his money. Well, where did he get the money if it wasn't from N, from Rogelio? Yeah, there's I know it's a translation issue. Confiscado. I think they meant to say confiscated and they said kidnapping, but it's confiscated, by the way. Thank you. I think that's the word. The prosecutor also transcribed a series of messages between Payne and Rogelio in which the musician requests drugs or money for them, and which in his view speaks of a procedure of at least direct collaboration and facilitation on the part of Rogelio in accessing narcotics, which is no way can be ignored when resolving his procedural situation. Okay, and then there's the release denied. Meanwhile, through an opinion and an oral hearing by the head of the Assistance of the Fiscal Unit before the National Court of Causation in Criminal and Correctional Matters, they have to put this whole title in there. There's got to be abbreviations for this. Maria Lucia Pique, I think that's how you say her name, and prosecutor Carlos Hernan Garcia, the MPF also obtained yesterday from Chambers 2 of the aforementioned court the confirmation of the denial of the release of the Brian Paez waiter, one of the defendants for drug supply with preventative detention, a decision that had been taken by the investigating judge and that had also been confirmed by the National Court of Appeals and the Criminal Correctional Matter, the CCC. Wow, it's a lot. That name is so long. So it sounds like Brian Paez it's going to be staying there for a while. We understand the decision of Chamber 4 of the CCC to uphold the ruling of the investigative judge who denied Brian Paez's release was correct due to sufficiently found, stated that Pique and Garcia, who in support of the defendant's imprisonment, argued that he faced prosecutorial risk of flight and obstruction of the investigation. The expected sentence and the fact that the defendant had previously changed his address without properly informing the court. See, and he was supposed to turn himself in. He didn't. He was partying it up. Some people feel like he was harshly sentenced. I don't know. If it was found that he lied, by the way. He lied. He said that he tried to make an argument with his attorney that the drugs were not sold, that this was gifted. He initially said he never did. Then he changed it up. This guy was all over the place. And then he was also like, I feel like he was like grooming. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but a lot of the Liam Payne fans were like trying to give this guy the time of day for information. Bullshit. Okay. When I heard about that and him kind of sharing information, I'm like, well, he clearly didn't tell you the truth, because apparently he did sell drugs. He just didn't show all the information, right? So to me, he's just, I don't know, like he's young, I get it. And maybe they can revisit his sentencing, but I don't feel like he was fully transparent. And in a situation like this, and he also tried to get clout off of Liam Payne's name, talking about we shared something intimate, which allowed everybody on the internet to say, oh my God, let's question Liam Payne's sexuality, right? Let's not forget about that. That just makes me mad. Hold up. Last part. The judges, Judge Horacio Diaz, Daniel Morin, and Eugenio, I cannot say this guy's last name, agree with the arguments presented at the prosecution and the judges of the lower court in upholding the rejection of the requested release. So Brian Pius is going to be sitting there for quite some time. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, they're going hard on it. They are going hard on this. Let's hope they overturn. I hope so. Basically saying that the story they ran with that began as, see, what happened was, this isn't going to fly at all. At all. So Rogelio Nores is doing his world tour of like, guys, I mean, this is what happened. And I've talked to Liam Payne's family, and, yes, I sued and it's all good. No. I mean, hopefully if this goes through, he might actually, a lot of this might be reinstated. Okay. Yeah. Now hold up. I want to make sure that I get the word correctly. Hold up. Kidnapping. Did he say? Here it is. It's right there. I want to make sure I use the correct word that they use. Yeah. Julia, they use, Madre explicó que el análisis del teléfono de Rogelio y otros secuestrados. They wrote secuestrados, which I think they meant to say like confiscated, right? So thank you for sharing this news. I'm going to cut half of this video up so that y'all can get that. Like, this is good news. This is good news. Okay. All right. But I think they got the name and the wording wrong, Julia. Dice secuestrados. I think they meant confiscated, but they use kidnapping. I'm pretty sure they meant to say like confiscated. It's weird. They said kidnapping, but I think there's a word translation happening there. But shout out to everybody. Yes. All right. Pretty sure that's what they meant to say. When they said kidnapping, I'm like, kidnapping? That just sounds off. Ooh, y'all, I'm telling you, like, it's just like, all right, I feel pretty good. I don't know about you guys, and I'm having some hope, okay? I'm a little hopeful about this news. I don't know if you can see it in my face, but I am. Just made my day. Okay, we have to get going, so I'm gonna be doing some editing on this video and cutting some of this video up. I know. En Argentina usan ese tipo de conceptos. Okay, I got you. So they use that kind of concepts in Argentina. So maybe that's where maybe there's the confusion. Andrew says there's a difference between moral and legal liability. Under Argentine law, is a friend have legal liability in such situations? That is the question. I mean, I guess that's the question, right? I guess we'll see. They use secuestrados as confiscated, which is weird because secuestrados is like kidnapping. Eugenia will tell you. All right, let Eugenia know about that little word right there. Let me know what she says. But we have to move on to another case that I didn't quite cover. And I didn't cover it, guys. Let me tell you guys a little secret about me. Not really, but I think everybody knows this about me. I worked in government for 10 plus years as a social worker. I supervise programs, and I did contracts. I did a bunch of things, right? And this is a story right here that I can't talk about kids because I've seen the worst of the worst when it comes to cases like this. I could tell you that, when you hear different stories about kids getting killed or murdered, and investigations happening like this, I just hate it. I hate it. I would lose sleep over it. That's just how it is. So when I first heard this story about the woman whose kids It was said that they froze at a parking garage. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? And I want to make sure that I say her name correctly. I think her name is it Tateona? Tateona. So, February 10th, their mother, Tateona Williams, says that she tried waking them up on Monday. By the way, she was seen partying it up. Okay. Police said Williams and her mother and 5 children were sleeping at a parking garage on Hollywood Casino Hotel at Greektown. The family, who was homeless, parked their van in the garage around 1 a.m. and said the van ran out of gas around noon. She realized her 9-year-old son was not breathing. I lost the one who made me a mother, and I lost a 2-year-old. I'm dying inside. It hurts. Williams told 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham, I feel like my heart is breaking and I have 2 more kids to live for. Their father, who also talked to Darren about the kids, he also recalls a distressing phone call he says he took from their mother. Okay? Well, let me tell you what really happened. DPD completes investigation into the kids who died in casino parking garage. Detroit police have completed their investigation in the case of the 2 children who died from carbon monoxide inside a vehicle in Detroit casino parking garage last month. Okay. So apparently there has been a statement that has been released. And DPD has not requested charges to be filed against the family of members. As we do with every case, we simply turn over our investigative file to the prosecutor's office to review. Earlier this month, the medical examiner said that the 2-year-old and the 9-year-old died from carbon monoxide poisoning, and they had ruled it an accidental. But there was some contradiction to the story that I had heard. Did you guys? Yeah, this stuff kind of, it does, right? When I initially heard this, I heard that they had frozen. And then I heard different variant stories about what actually happened. Then I heard that she was kind of partying it up. Something to that effect. And now, this was 15 hours ago, an arrest warrant is sought in the case of the 2 kids who died in a van after mom lavished with free housing. So an arrest warrant request has been filed in the case of the 2 Michigan children who died in a van during below freezing temperatures. So she's leaving the heater on, and it's a sickening situation. This is why I can't do stories with kids, because I tend to lose sleep. It just makes me feel some type of way. So the 9-year-old and the 2-year-old died from carbon monoxide poisoning after spending the night inside their family vehicle at the Detroit parking garage, February 10th. So they were among 5 children and 2 adults inside the van, including their 29-year-old mother. After hearing the story, so the CEO president of the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries coordinated with the city to provide her with a fully furnished home for 1 year. Okay. And the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office told the Daily Mail that it received a request for a criminal warrant related to the case from the Detroit Police Department. The warrant is being reviewed and further information will be released when the decision is made. Okay. Where do you guys stand? This is her. The family had been living out of the vehicle for 2 to 3 months and sometimes chose to park at casinos for safety and access to restrooms. The van stopped running overnight and couldn't produce heat while outside the temperatures was under 20 degrees Fahrenheit. When Williams noticed her 9-year-old was not breathing, she called a friend who came to the scene and let her use the car to drive to the hospital. While they were en route to the hospital, the mother also realized her 2-year-old was not breathing. When her friends came back, the entire family got into the vehicle and rushed to the hospital. At the hospital, both children were pronounced dead. The cause of death was carbon monoxide. While the matter of death was an accident, the Wayne County, this is what it was ruled. I don't know. They feel like there might be more to this story than what meets the eye. Let me know where you guys stand. It is. It's too much. I can't do these kind of stories, and so it makes me angry. I heard that no one would help a rabbit. That's what they said. So there have been a lot of speculations because I know that there were some bloggers who said that after her children died, she went to go party, kind of like a Casey Anthony situation. That's what they said. I'm like, oh my God. If they can find this information, then yeah, then she should be cleared. But there's looking into arresting her. I don't know if there's more to this. So I don't know. It's giving a little hope for humanity and justice. Definitely. You're talking about Liam Payne. I just hate it. And I'm sorry that I have to end this live with that, but I wanted to tell you guys. Yeah, there was like no, that's what they said, Kat, that there was no shelters, but people were saying that there was something else going on with the situation. I don't know if they're investigating to look this up a little bit more. Cheeks, that's what not when that happened, afterwards, that there was other things happening. That's what they're speculating. I don't know. Word on the street. Okay. So we will see kind of what develops out of this. And what comes out of this. You know what I mean? You said she's responsible. Why was she not asleep with them? This passes me up. Nanette, people have been saying different things, guys. So I don't feel like we're getting the full story from her. So we need to let that investigation go through because this might be more. This could be a complete accident, yes. But with them kind of following through with their investigation, people are saying that there was something else at play here. Okay. And let me see if I can pull anything else. Hold up. Let's see if I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah, here you go. There are, look at this. If you go on TikTok, they have pulled a lot of videos. Tateona Williams partying the night her kids died. Okay. There is something else, and they're investigating her story a little bit different. All right. I hope that's not the case. I'm hoping that that's not the case. Okay. I'm hoping that that's not the case. But if the investigation shows something else, guys, that's a whole different thing, right? Right, Kat. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's a terrible accident, oh my God, that's horrible. But if the investigation is showing something else, then let the investigation show what is going on. Okay. Yeah. That's how I feel. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to work on a quick little pre-recorded for this Liam Payne video, but y'all are amazing. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate everybody who hit the like button. Shout out to you guys. Yes, Kat, let's just wait and see what happens from that investigation. Hendrix says, dang, I arrived. Hendrix, you arrived late. Give your slip to Pika. Shout out to Pika. I will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great day. Bye, y'all. Bye. Where's my exit? Well, I don't have an exit door anymore. Bye, guys.